For this demonstration video, we'll take a look at how smart applications from TTEC Digital can assist your organization with fraud prevention and detection. And we'll do this from two different persona perspectives, one being the agent handling an incoming interaction, and the second being somebody in management, perhaps somebody on your fraud prevention team, and what tools they have at their disposal to dive further into potential fraudulent activity. Let's get started. From the perspective of an agent, I'm already logged into Genesys Cloud, and I can see that I'm out of adherence with my workforce management schedule, so I better put myself on the queue where now I'm eligible to receive the next interaction based on my skills, queue memberships, languages, those sorts of routing pieces of logic. As I answer the interaction, this person is telling me they want to do a potentially risky transaction. So I want to be sure that I follow all the proper steps to prevent against fraud. And I'm going to go into the TTEC Digital Smart Applications view. I can also set this to be the view that pops up automatically, but the main point is right as soon as I get into this as an agent, I can see a lot of very powerful, useful information that helps me be on guard against potential fraudulent activity. The very first thing I see is from an integration we have with Trusted, which is doing device level authentication. This is telling me that the number potentially has been spoofed. There's different color coding options indicating if the number calling in is actually associated with the device, if it's recently been ported, and it's sort of like a stoplight. Red means bad, green means good. There can also be yellow and orange color combinations depending on how we set up those alerts. As I look down a little bit further, I can see I've got display history information, and I've got two sides of a coin here. I'm looking at this initially from the member perspective, but I can flip that coin over and see where the number is coming from. And that's useful because if this is a potential fraudster, they may be calling in from the same number, trying to social engineer their way into multiple accounts that I can see on the left-hand column where the member number is selected. Now, regardless which side of the coin I look at, I can see that I'm getting threshold warnings right here in the middle part of the screen. There have been excessive calls detected from this caller ID, and suspicious history has been detected. What does that mean? As I scroll down here a little bit further, I'm starting to see more color coding and symbolism letting me know what the threat threshold level is. I can see notes entered by previous agents in my contact center, unable to answer a series of out of wallet questions without hints, didn't know the joint member's date of birth. I can see the suspicious bandito mask indicated right here. This is a bad guy mask, not a good guy mask. I can see the call analysis from Trusted, indicating that numbers have called in that have been perfectly fine, and another series of numbers indicating the number has been spoofed. So, as an agent, this is giving me a lot of very powerful, useful information to be on my best behavior for potential fraudulent activity. Next, I'm going to use Smart Apps Site Manager where I can get into this section called fraud prevention. So, as somebody whose role it is to investigate fraud more carefully, I have access to this powerful tool called Fraud Investigator. At the top of the screen, I have a series of filters that allow me to choose date ranges, the member ID, the queue it came into. I'm going to look at anything suspicious that's happened over the last handful of days. And as I sort in chronological order, I can see all the ones that have been marked as suspicious. As a fraud investigator, when I click into any one of these, it brings up more detail with the metadata where I can validate that the agent did things correctly. And as I click into the conversation ID, it actually takes me into the recording where I can look at the transcription, I can listen to it, and I can make sure that the agent handled this call as appropriately as they possibly could have. Now, going back here to this fraud investigator screen, this is where I could maybe decide that the agent was a little bit over eager with marking it as suspicious, so I could unmark it as suspicious. I can change the notes here. But in this case, the agent did exactly what they were supposed to do. I'm not going to make any changes to it at all. And look at the detail I have down here. These are the out of wallet questions that the agent asked the caller to do more authentication to make sure they were who they said they were. And I can see the questions they got correct and the ones they got incorrect. And you can imagine how useful this could be for you if you have to make a call to that member and explain why you think their account is under some kind of social engineering attack. This gives you all the ammunition at your fingertips to have that difficult conversation and explain the corrective action that you're going to take.